and we had to chop this scene in half.
Yep.
Yeah, because it just sucked.
Welcome to the Spencer Whiteout podcast. Rated R.
Criminal charges. Guess like we're avoiding the shark.
No, great turbo neck guy.
I'll give you a kiss. You give me your number.
That checked out a ton, dude. Tell me you felt.
We're Americans. We're the ones that are descendants from the 1776 musket-bearing motherfuckers.
All right, welcome back to the Spencer Whiteout podcast. Today we have something very special. We're going to be doing the Space Waves commentary track. So this is the way of the future. No more DVDs, Blu-ray commentary track where you have to pop in the disc and all that stuff. You know, I love that, but this sucks. I need to do another.
That was good. You're on a roll. You're on a roll.
Wait, how do we want to...
Yeah, it just sucks. You know,
sucks.
I don't have any of these DVDs or Blu-rays. No
Dude,
special
I miss the
features.
Blu-rays and the DVDs, man. Let me
It's
try it
very
again.
meta.
I know. I was
is.
thinking the
So
same
meta.
thing. It's
Yeah.
a podcast commentary about a movie about a podcast.
Right.
Make a
Right.
movie about this
Yeah.
podcast. That's going
Right,
down
right.
now.
Podcastception.
Yeah.
Podception.
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 Oh, nice.
Elevated. You can take it from there.
Yeah. So you remember back in the day, you'd be able to pop in those DVDs and Blu-rays and hear a commentary track with the director or the actors or the filmmakers themselves giving fun little insights, trivia, behind the scenes, anecdotes, and just talking about the movie. That's what we're going to be doing today. So if you have your Space Waves movie ready, what we're going to do is we're going to do a countdown in 3, 2, 1. We're going to hit the play button all at the same time, and then you'll be able to watch the movie and hear our sweet, succulent voices giving you trivia and all the goodness that you need. So today we have a few guests. Who do we have?
This is Andrew. I produced the movie.
Well, you have a last name, don't you?
It is Baer.
Okay, there you go.
I just had to make that as
Gotta
awkward as
go
possible.
lower on that.
Baer.
Who else? Who is this guy over here?
I'm Connor Griffin. I was a cinematographer on this film.
And I am Alex Vollmann, and I was the editor on this film.
All right. Yeah.
Nice.
So I don't think we need any further ado. Do you guys have anything to add?
Dude, I've never watched a commentary track before, so this
Actually,
will be the first one I've ever seen.
that's awesome.
Nice.
I watched some commentary tracks on old like Disney and Pixar films where when you're in like the main menu on the DVD screen, and then it has these like wacky transitions from like one menu to the next. You remember? Clicking around on old
I have
DVDs.
no idea.
I mean, I
what you're
do
talking
know what you're talking about, like transitions between the menus, like going to the special features.
Yeah, it's a
and
whole
then being
thing.
able to. Oh yeah,
You get lost in
definitely.
there. Yeah.
Yes, that's
I'm
true.
excited.
Like the secret Easter eggs where you could find a secret button somewhere on the menu.
Yeah,
dude.
What?
And they'd
And
show
they-
like some other like
Yeah,
little
something
short film or
crazy.
something
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah,
exactly.
You guys had some next level
Childhood
experiences as children.
Dude,
There
you
were
were just stuck in
games
your room all day
sometimes,
staring at
too.
the ceiling fan.
What disc did you have that played games? I've never had.
Finding Nemo had
Oh,
a game.
man.
Wow, that's
yeah, the
cool.
DVD games.
Like, you know how
dude.
like the fish would like shape into something? You'd have to guess what that was, and they would form a little bit at a time. And if you could guess it like that, like you were just, you know, you were the coolest. Like you were
Right.
going to be able to win that. And
Yeah,
smoke
then you'd
everybody.
get to go to the next loading screen and then find something else. Dude.
Well, and the thing was, like, there were only so many, so you could just memorize like that first shape that they did. You're like, I know that one.
Nice.
Dude, did you guys have the portable DVD players that you'd use in the car on like
yeah,
long road
dude.
trips, dude?
Lord of
Oh,
the
yeah.
Rings on that.
Oh, like
Oh,
last
dude, that'll
so
take up your
crazy.
entire road trip.
Totally.
Dude, see, nowadays people can watch Space Waves on their phone for the entire road trip. They'll watch it once and then they'll watch it again with this commentary and then they'll just keep watching it.
There you go.
Oh, and something else I
perfect.
want to mention is we do have Beast Mode. That is the making of documentary of Space Waves. So there's going to be a lot more content in there about the making of the film and all the stories behind the story, right?
That's on the YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, that'll be on our YouTube channel, Space Waves Film. But this one, we're basically just going to be talking about the movie and trying to dissect what's going on screen, as well as some behind the scenes anecdotes. So, all right, I think we're ready to go. Are you guys ready? Do you have your pointer finger on the trigger finger?
Ready.
I'm ready.
Do we want to count down from 3 or up to 3?
Let's go up to
just
3
do
because that's
one.
what we
I don't know.
practiced.
Yeah, do what we practiced.
up to
Up to 3.
5.
You did up to 3.
Up to 3?
Yep.
And then when you say 3,
When
hit
you
the
say
play
3, we
button.
hit it. Yeah.
Then it's Judgment Day. There's no going back after that.
It's true.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
I don't know if ours played. Oh, it did. Yep, it did. It's
going.
We're
All right,
good.
we're going.
All right, it's happening.
All right, so first shot's going to be that space tower. Some of the first inspiration from this movie was a similar radio tower I had in my hometown growing up. That was some of the initial seed of the idea.
And this is one of the last shots we filmed. This drone shot might actually be the last shot. Is that right?
No, because we did some pickup shoots, remember? But
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
that's
this
true.
was.
That's right.
We thought this was the last shot. I think we thought that quite a few times, and then we just kept adding to space waves and
Yeah.
changing
The
and
last,
reshooting things.
Like monumental shot. I
oh
would
yeah,
say.
man.
Yeah, totally.
Welcome to Grass Valley, even though this is the Bay Area.
Oh, yeah. You can clearly see the San Francisco Bay, but, we'll pretend it's Grass Valley.
Right, which are like five hours apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drive.
I mean, I feel like this location was so much more scenic. I mean, I didn't actually get to see the one that you grew up with, Spencer, but I feel like this one is more scenic than the one that you might have had in your hometown.
This one is way better, man. I mean, I love the first one because of its nostalgia and what it meant to me,
yeah.
but this one looks so much better for a movie, and it's symmetrical. It looks so powerful and just looks incredible. So really happy with that.
If you look closely, you can see the outlines of their harnesses. So they're harnessed in the whole time. And you can see it poking up a little on Marvin under his chest.
I mean,
there.
if you really look for it, I think you can see it even more in some of the other shots.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, ending, yeah.
Marvin
But yeah,
wears
I mean,
a
gotta keep people
undershirt
safe.
or a
Safety
bra,
first,
whatever
yeah.
you call it. This title shot's inspired by Girl and Chocolate's skate video, Pretty Sweet. The intro had a nice 3D graphic coming in from the sky, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So I wanted to take inspiration from that.
Connor, do you remember how many takes we did of this shot?
I honestly don't. Maybe I've blocked it out of my memory.
Yeah, it was a lot, man. I think it was 9 or something.
Yeah. Is it? I mean, is it tough just walking backwards on this gravelly, rock stuff? But I think it worked out really well in the end. And
This was the only one with the train.
yeah.
Too. Yeah.
When you
saw
had
the
a
train coming.
big steady cam, right? That you're walking backwards with and everything.
Totally. And that thing was always just one part away from imploding, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Well, and you had never used the Steadicam before either, had
I had
you?
never used
And
the
I was like,
Steadicam
Connor,
before.
let's go, dude. Steadicam this whole movie. Come on.
Well, Spencer loves his one takes. That is
That is
for sure.
So Steadicam seemed like a smart option.
Famous last words.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but it all turned out all right. But did we mention we had to ADR this entire scene?
Yeah.
So
None of this audio is from set, so everything's been recreated.
Just all of the environmental sounds.
the train was just blasting. You couldn't hear a single thing. So we didn't even exactly know what they were saying when we got to it in post.
We were doing ADR on this maybe 2 years after we shot it.
Right. It was honestly, this scene was a nightmare to completely rework in post. It's built from the ground up, but we thought it was worth it. We loved the train, and this one was one of the only ones where it was all in focus. So we just figured, we'll bite the bullet and we'll try to fix our mistakes and just clean it up from there. So
It must have been really hard to keep focus because we didn't have monitors. We're mega low budget. There's no way to tell what's going on remotely.
Shout out to Rebecca.
What is she using, Connor? What's Rebecca using?
She's just watching. She's just watching the distance, and she's walking alongside me to the right on a little ridge. you can kind of see in the background, but yeah, she's probably like 30, 40 feet away and just kind of.
But like, what is the thing? What's it called? What's
the follow focus?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's she's using a Bartek follow focus.
Yeah, and she just twists the knob, and she just has to guess how close or far they are from the camera and twist the knob accordingly.
And that could
pretty
be
insane.
At the aperture we're at. That could be a matter of inches that she has to be able to tell the difference. So.
Well, and what's crazy is on some sets you even have to like take out a ruler, or measuring tape to like actually figure out that distance. So it's crazy that she was able to do that on the fly.
Yeah,
totally.
For real. This location's super fun because it is Sawyer's home exterior, but it's also the inside of Marvin's house,
aka Luke Reed's house that we just used for everything.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
AKA budget filmmaker right there.
Exactly. Yeah.
And our gaffer, Taylor Moore, aka Tito Sanchez, is actually standing right to the left of frame to like motion Marvin when to stop the Mustang, because it's like he can't see a mark on the ground of where to stop, to get the framing right. So Taylor's standing right over there, right just outside of frame.
And in hindsight, we should have just put like a C-stand or something instead of having Taylor
why
be
did
the
we
guy who gets it.
We trust Taylor too much. Yeah. It's our first day shooting, yeah?
First day.
Yes, this
First
was our
day.
first day. We
Me and
did a
Taylor
lot
actually-
the first day.
Yeah, we got stranded after this shoot. We tried to make it back home and didn't
lost,
know where everyone
yeah.
went, and our phones had died. And
That's rough.
And that's just how day one started. That's how the entire rest of production happened. This is my '67 Mustang that me and my dad bought when I was in high school. It was torn up, dented up fender, had been in a wreck, and then we restored it and still have it. And it's still broken to this day. You'll hear more about that in Beast Mode with the car breaking down on day 2 of filming. But hopefully if Space Waves makes money, I'll be able to fix it up again. But yeah, that Mustang is iconic. We love it.
There's a lot of familiar faces here. JD, he was a grip, just past him.
Oh, my
There's
dad.
His dad.
Right there.
And then Tiffany, the production designer, walks by in a bit. Spencer's sister.
Yeah. We didn't even have to ask my dad to come be in the scene. He was just already in the thrift store. He pretty much lives at thrift stores. So
Well, in that thrift store, that was a connection through your family, right, Spencer, that you were able to film there?
right. Yeah. My mom was close friends with somebody that owned this thrift store. So we got to use it, which was amazing. Oh, there goes Tiffany. All right. What else? So let's talk about Benson and the Frisbee throw.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's coming up in a second, isn't it?
Yeah, but we need to talk about the deleted scene, the only deleted
Well,
scene
it's
from
true,
Space
it's
Waves.
true.
That'll take a second to get through.
That's true.
Benson was a whole disc golf champion, but nobody will know because we cut out disc
That whole
golfing
scene.
scenes from the movie. So
Like him and Marvin went disc golfing, and Benson was amazing at disc golf. And then what else happened in those scenes?
I think that was Marvin asking for time off work so he could go on the road trip.
Yep.
Right. And it was just
Yep.
totally unnecessary. And then it was also, I don't know, it kind of was extremely corny.
It was kind of corny, and there was like a tie-in with like an extended universe kind of thing for the
with
Whiteout
Benson-
universe.
No, well, with Benson being a part of the wolf
Right,
pack
the
and
wolf
all this
pack,
stuff.
and he had a
Wolf
big
pack. He had a big
tattoo,
wolf tattoo,
and it was a
he
wolf
and he was
tattoo.
wearing a wolf shirt, and Marvin's like, "Wait, you were in the wolf pack?"
Right, he was so caught
mind
by
blown.
surprise.
It's like, yeah, I have a tattoo and a sleeveless shirt and a wolf. But
This
anyway,
was a
all right,
real
let's keep-
skate spot from your growing up, huh?
Yeah, I would skate here all the time. It's my buddy Jake doing a nollie tray flip. It took forever to get this trick, so this was a real celebration. We were like, yes, okay, because we were already super behind on this day. Finally got it. And then that quick music video montage is actually shot from Duke's camera. We remixed that footage,
Yep.
put it in there.
With the like fisheye kind of lens, or I don't know if it's quite fisheye.
Yeah, it is.
Pretty wide.
By the way, the beginning where Duke is saying that prayer, that was all improv. That was something, I had it written in the script, but he's like, how about I try this instead, that prayer. So we ended up doing that, and we thought it was so much funnier.
It was
just
great.
More fun.
And this is the first of the podcast voiceover narrations that
Yep.
kind of like bridge different scenes. And that was a big change that wasn't in the original script.
Right.
That was something that the two of you guys, Spencer and Alex, came up with later.
When we were editing, we just felt that there was an absence of the podcast, and the whole thing is about this podcast that they're trying to bring into the iTunes top spot. And so Spencer, started writing a lot of like really good kind of exposition, but also like really fun and funny sort of moments to
chemistry moments between Marvin and Joey.
It builds their friendship, and it also builds up scenes like this.
It shows
to
their
give
wit
you a
and
layout.
their humor and just the way they're able to tell funny stories and why the audience actually likes, connecting with those stories.
Yeah, and it brings you into their world.
Yeah. Feels a lot better now that they're in there.
So Samson, Andrew?
Oh, I had never met this guy before he had shown up to set. He was casted like the night before from backstage.
He was the only option we had. No one else called us back, and he was like, I'll do it. And we're like, we haven't even seen your picture of your face, dude, but all right, show up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he was great. So we're super thankful for him.
Yeah, he did a good job. I don't know where that tent came from. Did Tiffany get that tent?
No, that's my dad's tent. Yeah.
Okay. If he brought it.
That's dedication. If he brought
bring
it.
your tent, dude. Yeah. He did bring a cooler, which was funny.
This is a Luke Reed moment, isn't it? The Luke Reed story.
Oh yeah, so Luke Reed, and this story is actually told on my podcast. You'll hear it in a later episode. But Luke Reed ended up getting strangled by a homeless man, and then Luke strangled him back, and so it's two guys strangling each other, and it's this ridiculous story. And so it was inspired by that. Your favorite line was in here as well, Andrew. Never speak in absolutes.
Love
right?
that one.
Yeah.
I like these first couple scenes because they're sort of a primer to help the audience like learn how Marvin and Joey talk and how like Space Wave's characters talk, because it's a bit of a, I don't know if that's the right word, but like a culture shock at first. It's like, what are they saying? I don't get it at all. But by the end of the movie, it starts to make sense somehow.
Yep.
You know?
I remember at the premiere, the first night, people definitely liked it and stuff, but the next two nights, people got acclimated to the humor and stuff, people that had come multiple times, and it was like, okay, yeah, this is supposed to be weird, but it's supposed to be fun,
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, that paintball was inspired by Extreme Days, amazing movie that maybe we'll talk more about later. It's a hidden gem. Okay. I know we're getting a little behind, but dude, the paintball that shoots Samson in the face, dude, it was supposed to be, he touches it, he feels the blood, and then he takes out a drug needle to start sewing his face back up.
As a PG-13 version of the script.
The R-rated version.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That crotch smack on Luke Reed, that just happened on set spontaneously, and we're like, all right, we got to use it in the movie. That's me skating right there.
Well, and these are all of your clips, right, Spencer?
Yeah, it's just iPhone clips that I filmed. What else?
And then, Tyson just kind of took this and ran with it. And so, and some of the other clips that, going through the footage and everything, we got to laugh about were Tyson's impressions of different people like Christopher Walken and Owen Wilson and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was like, wow,
the
look at that skate.
Exactly. Pretty funny.
We just gave him free reign. We're like, all right, the camera's rolling on you for like 5 minutes and just do all kinds of reactions.
That's a sequence that would be fun to have like alternate versions for, just like all the different ways Duke's reacting.
Yeah, there was a lot of fun stuff like that in just Tyson's performance.
Mm-hmm. And this is your bedroom, Spencer, is where you grew up.
Yeah, I grew up in here.
Never
Amazing.
left, just 18 years, then went to college.
Right. Yeah, it was cool to remix the room and like take all the stuff that was in the closets and stuff and just put it all up, and skateboard shelves in the top right corner, as you see. Exercise ball. That was one of the items that took us the longest to get because we couldn't find a cheap one, and we're dirt cheap on this movie.
Is that true? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I've always liked the look of this scene a lot. Just like the soft
great job,
lighting from
Connor.
the window.
Yeah, thanks. It was a pretty simple setup. I mean, if you have a big window in scene, just light from the window. And it was easy because it was in the house we were all sleeping in. So I just woke up, grabbed some breakfast, started setting up for this scene.
Yeah. The house was called the Space Station. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my parents' house. Amazing. They let us stay there and everything. And we shot a couple of scenes there.
So it's
inside
basically
and
like
outside.
roll out of bed and film.
Basically,
Exactly.
yeah, because I slept in there. Yeah, so Connor's banging on the door. Spencer, we have to shoot in there. Get up, dude. All right, silly string. This is awesome. My friend Katie Kenton told me about this one time that she went on a first date with a guy, and he's like, all right, we're buying silly string from the dollar store, and we're driving around shooting strangers out the window. Are you down? And she's like, yeah. so that was their date, and I thought it was the coolest story. So I put that in here,
That's
like,
great.
It does seem fun. It's like acceptable assault, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that what you'd
Depending
say?
on who you silly string, I suppose.
Yeah. If they're willing to sue or not, then it's acceptable.
Yeah. But it's not harmful, so.
No, that's true. It's true.
Yeah.
It is silly by definition.
It is silly.
Right.
Yeah, there should be some parody law against being sued for silly stringing people.
That's right. That's right.
It'd be very ironic.
So this scene is like, dude, Transformers to the max. We got the muscle car sitting on top of the hill, sunset vibes, just epic. And
it used to be a lot longer.
yes, it used to be a lot longer. It used to be about 2 minutes longer. And we had to chop this scene in half
Yep.
because it was just not good.
Yeah, you'll see a cut in a minute here. They get out of the car, and we cut to the wide really quick, and you see Sawyer lean over and just kind of nudge Marvin lovingly, and it's sort of it fits the mood a little bit better.
Yeah, it gives
and
it a space to
speeds it up
breathe.
a little bit more.
Gives it time to breathe and just gives it a little moment there.
Right, but
Which
it
is-
speeds up
which
the
is nice.
conversation
Yeah.
in a good way, down to what you really need to hear about.
This was filmed right after the car had died, actually. This was our second day of
All right, so we
shooting.
had to tow the car up to this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. That cut out to the wide and then back to this.
Yep.
This was just the very end of the scene, and we chopped off the whole beginning conversation.
Yeah, there's
It
like a
was
whole
just-
story and everything.
Yeah, he told the story of how him and Joey met and stuff, which is no longer canon, and nobody's going to get to hear about that now. So,
It was a Patrick O'Sullivan related thing.
yes,
right?
it was Patrick O'Sullivan related,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. So there's a callback to that in the playground scene.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Dude, the cooties touch. I tell Marvin, I tell Drew, the actor, I'm like, all right, dude, your character does not like smoking. So, and he's like, oh yeah, dude, I got you. And then when she touches him on the arm, dude, he leans so far away, dude. And it always
really does
kills
not
me.
like
I'm just
cigarettes.
like, dude, like you lean so far away, but whatever, it's fine. It's funny.
So this scene was pretty much completely like rewritten while you guys were on set, because that watering hole was like really hard to film at. A lot of hiking back and forth with equipment, and there were other complications that day. And so we were able to use a few of the clips to kind of set it up. And
we
then,
only got like a third of what we needed for that. We just didn't even get everything we needed at all.
Yeah.
So what we ended up deciding was, hey, let's basically kind of do this in past tense and have it be flashing back to what happened at the swimming hole. And we'll have Marvin and Joey tell the story in present tense, Does that make sense? Past tense, present tense?
I get what you mean.
Yeah, you get it. So anyway, it worked out a lot better because now there's another scene at space. And I think you really do need to see them at space recording another story. I think that helps
Definitely.
establish it a lot.
definitely establishes the podcast a lot more.
Also, you can see our gaffer here in that wide shot on the left. I don't know if we got to mention him yet, but he got to his little starring role as Tito Sanchez. Is
Yeah,
that
Right. Yeah. When you have so few extras that you recruit the gaffer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he killed it. He pulled off the...
He's got a lot of character for not saying anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Denim doesn't say anything either, man.
That's true. That's true. It's a different way, though. It's the way he doesn't say something.
This is also in my backyard. My
Also,
parents' backyard.
that was the only your mom joke, right?
There's two of your mom jokes right here.
Or I'm saying like this is the only scene with your mom jokes, right?
Yeah, the only two
That's
your mom
impressive.
jokes.
Yeah.
Well, in the original script, there was way more. Dude. There was so many, but it was like, all right, this is a little overkill.
Tone
Let's
it
just
back a
use the
little.
best two your mom jokes and put them in here.
Yeah. And this is another good example of how like we had no money, where we didn't really test out the whole bubble bath. sequence.
Yeah, that was a one try attempt as far as we could tell.
Well, it's like in our head, it just like overflows with bubbles.
Yeah.
And that's not what happened. And there's a moment when Kelly, the sound person, looks over to Spencer. Is like, is this supposed to be cool?
Tito comes out of the tree back there.
It's like,
But
I
yeah,
guess so.
I remember thinking it was supposed to blow up a lot bigger than that, and then it didn't, and I was just like, all right, well, I guess this is what it is. I think in their minds too, though, it was supposed to be a lot bigger and crazier than it was. So it just kind of fits,
Yeah.
I mean, Mr. Phallickson still gets pretty mad about it. So
Right.
I'm trying to figure out how that duck got there.
He put it on his
watched it
shoulder.
so many times. I
Okay,
never
right
saw him.
there. He says, "Grave mistake. You put him in the wrong coffin." Pretty good joke that nobody's gonna get until they hear this commentary.
Yeah, I don't think anybody caught that one at the premiere, actually.
Well, you didn't catch it for years till I pointed it out. Same with Yasin Bey, dude, and all
I
that.
actually knew Yasin Bey, but yeah.
Oh no, it was the
Yasin Bey-
priapism one that you didn't get till
priapism
later.
premiere.
Yasin Bey
yeah.
takes a minute for sure. That takes
I
a
look at
good
the little
Google
ducky.
search.
Look at the little ducky going down the water.
Oh yeah. I actually shot the. I guess we should reveal how we shot the poop scene, huh?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that was me and one other guy, Graham, in the Biola University parking lot, just dropping Pudo over a green screen and then comping that in later. And definitely one of the shortest shoots I've ever had to do at Biola, but it was necessary, I guess, for the scene.
Yeah, dude, this scene never fails to get a reaction. Dude.
It's a one of a kind scene.
It really is. I think it's the first time in movie history that somebody takes a dump at someone else.
Oh, Donahue.
Yeah, dude.
You know how you should share who Donahue is.
Okay. All right, in the original version of the script, Mr. Phallickson was supposed to have a young, 6-8-year-old with him, and he was supposed to have that kid with him at the swimming hole and go, "Look at these punks, Donahue. This is how you deal with punks and bullies." And then he turns around and Connor.
No.
Yes, dude.
There's
He
a
was
reason it
supposed
got
to be.
cut.
There was
my
gonna be a
gosh.
child
Yeah,
on
it was-
set to
yes,
witness all
yes.
this.
I know it was supposed to be
that would have
like
complicated the shoot a ton too.
that would have complicated our
Oh my
release forms.
gosh.
For real.
But yeah, it was, and the reason it wasn't in the screenplay anymore is because we couldn't find a child actor. Dude.
Yeah. Bottom line, what's
But yeah, he was
important here, I
supposed to be
guess.
telling him how to deal with bullies and
Yeah. You got away with a lot in the sex ed scene though, so I mean
Yeah.
Then here the scene goes from that kind of fun, crazy action to a more serious, dramatic scene.
Yeah,
And,
the first kind of real scene where you can kind of really start to see the foreshadowing and that they're slowly not exactly on the same page.
Yep. A little bit of an argument. And crafting this scene, we were looking at all of the different takes and all of the little subtleties, all the hesitations and eyebrow raises, different gestures, just to try to craft it just right to get the mood right, where, you have a little bit of a pause here, maybe cut it a little quicker there so it's snappier. This was a cool one to edit for sure.
Because the timing really changes the meaning of a conversation.
Definitely.
If somebody cuts someone off talking, or if somebody pauses, and they're thinking about what the other person is saying, and just all those little nuances, I think this scene really works very well because of their acting and because of the editing.
Yeah.
And because this is the last scene, correct me if I'm wrong, is this the last scene that Marvin and Joey did together, and then everything else was random pickups?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So I think all the years of Space Wave shooting and then the years of their friendship before Space Waves all made this feel so natural on camera, Just
Yeah, and
built
they
up
had
really
gotten
well.
better as actors as well.
Yeah, so much time had passed. And this was, I think, on the day that we filmed this scene, Rudy was going on a plane to go shoot OBX later that day. Like, my parents actually took him from the Airbnb to the airport, and then he was out for
That's so
a few
crazy.
months. Yeah, pretty crazy timing.
I think it was like 5 months, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had to shoot. It was like the very last possible moment we could shoot this scene. So thankful it worked out. This is Ruth's house. Ruth! Duluth, which you guys will hear more about that story later. That's a crazy story.
Did we just park the car in some like random person's?
Yeah, but we
driveway?
asked her, and that's we asked that person, and that's where the Ruth story happens.
Nice.
So, but like I said, story for another time.
But then this is Luke Reed's house again.
Yes, again, Luke Reed's room. Alex made these graphics, so thank you, Alex.
Oh, you're welcome.
They look really good.
Vampire Screech Easter egg. Marvin references later. Final done V4.
Oh yeah,
that happened a lot during
that's
Space
how
Race.
every edit goes too.
Editors can relate
You always
to that.
think you're done, but there's always one more version.
Dude, we laugh because the scrolling for that iPod goes backwards.
It goes the wrong way.
Right, but nobody under 25 would know that. That's right. The old iPods. Alico Lakers shout out. Dude, the Astro Burger dude. So
Yeah, there's that summer where I was interning at CBS and Spencer were working at LA Film School, and we would go to this like burger joint in
Hollywood, I think.
Hollywood
Yeah.
area, and we'd write down all the names for those like podcasts and all the little stuff that appears on the iTunes page.
Right.
And we scrolled past
Yeah,
it.
I remember one day we just cranked through and came up with all those, which was awesome. And it's really funny because if you notice, all of the episodes are roughly like 20 to 30 minutes. And then the one that says the time I almost kissed Bethany Welty is like an hour and a half.
Yeah. And then the Phallickson one is the only one with an explicit tag.
Right.
So their whole podcast has a parental advisory because of that one that one episode.
Yeah.
The jellyfish, dude. I love that.
This is just so much work shooting all these. And it was mostly the two of you guys, Alex and Spencer.
Yep.
But this is over the course of months, just all these different scenes whenever you guys had time. And
Random spots kind of around my house in Whittier and other spots like in California, Venice Beach and stuff like that.
yeah.
We needed to show rather than tell that the podcast exploded. The podcast is really popular, but we didn't really get a sense of that. So we ended up shooting all those listening montages and those reactions, people listening to the podcast. We ended up shooting all that later. In order to show that, hey, this is actually popular, and we get to hear a bunch of funny one-liners, clips from the podcast, and also see people reacting and engaging with the podcast.
Mm-hmm. And it just makes that line, the podcast exploded, just like hit so much harder because you actually get to see that happen right before he says it. So it's kind of that, what is it, like dramatic irony or whatever, where like the audience gets to know a little bit before the actual main characters do.
Right.
So...
And this is the Forest Hill Bridge in Auburn. Very iconic spot. Really fun to film at. Took us forever to get that drone shot. Mm-hmm. There's a map, if people don't know what that is, that shows the geography of locations.
And it's physical too.
Right. Okay, look at the bottom right. See that blinking red light? We were getting kicked out of that spot by a police officer or security guard. And I'm like, run it. Yeah. So then they're running up the escalators.
Yeah. And someone gave the three guys the signal to just like start the take while we were still getting lectured from the officer. And then he sees we were finishing the shot and he's like,
as long as you have someone to run interference, you can still film. You can get one more take out.
Oh,
that's right.
Duke's got the aim of a
filmmaking.
Dude, Duke's got the aim of a stormtrooper. Could not hit Marvin with those strawberries. Fireworks are in my front yard. My parents' front yard. Look at this. Ooh, amazing.
There's some cool beast mode scenes of the fireworks and everyone just getting like,
super high. Yeah. Man, that was fun. That was really fun because the whole journey of Space Waves was just fighting uphill battles the entire time. So it was nice to have some explosions to lighten the mood a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. See what it's like from the inside of a firework. Really, that was great.
Right. I know. Everyone was so close up to those fireworks.
So close to the lens.
Yeah.
Talk about being in the action.
I think the funniest thing about the school scene from a logistics perspective is that this takes place at 3 different schools. Like we shot it.
I never thought about that, but you're right.
Yeah, there was 2
Exterior,
that were in NorCal,
hallway, and classroom. All 3 were different.
Yeah. The last one, the interior in the classroom was at Biola, but even this right here and then the exterior from the shop before, those are 2 different schools too. I don't remember what happened during production that made it come down to that, but there's just so much.
We probably got kicked out. I don't know. Or it just looked better. I don't know. But Duke's got that filthy grin. Where's he going? We should have credited the teacher in the credits as babysitter, right?
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Tiffany, the production designer, she made this entire classroom which was just completely like barren of anything, any character, and made it come to life like an actual like middle school classroom would look like.
Yeah, no, it looks really great. This was kind of like our first scene with a lot of minors that we shot.
Yes.
And that was supposed to be, or no, not supposed to be. It was first a banana.
Yeah,
and
we
then
comped in
were
a banana.
Like, nah, let's take it up a notch.
Yeah.
The folders, dude. Yeah. And I love how it's like, it's so graphic, yet they keep staring at it, you know? They're like, oh, and they're just looking at it. It's like, what?
It's like real middle school. I always questioned that look cut from Joey.
That look down.
It makes me really uncomfortable. But,
oh, man.
That's my dad, by the way.
That's Andrew's dad. And he does the shark fin, which comes around. If you watch, his hand comes around the corner first, which is super funny. Yeah. And then we got the most expositional, ridiculous dialogue here. Professor Brown, thank you for coming to give this sex education. Before we head to room 1.
That's part of why we had that like punch in really quick, because we were like, I don't know, this is too long. We need to shorten this a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because the other actor, he drove out from San Francisco for the role, and then we like the set was falling
all the
apart.
Lines to your dad for some reason.
For some reason, yeah. My dad got all the speaking lines, and this actor from San Francisco just like nodded and said yes.
And what did he do with his paycheck, Andrew?
And then he donated what we were going to pay him back to the movie because he's like, you guys clearly need this more than I do.
He's like, here's your $50 back.
He's great. We love Drew. His name's also Drew, which is funny.
Wow, so many Drews on this
set.
A lot of
Drews,
for real.
A lot of Drews.
Yeah.
Abacus.
Yeah, he was in the original script. He made it all the way through. All the cuts and revisions. Pretty impressive.
Who wants to talk about the hallway?
What about the hallway?
Well, not the hallway, but Tyson, you know.
Like basically writing these scenes essentially
Pretty much.
with you guys. Yeah. He improv'd a lot of this. There's actually, I think there are a couple more moments that we had to kind of cut around too, just to make it a little bit punchier. But yeah, he gave us a lot of material.
Yeah, we were super stuck on this scene for a long time.
Yeah,
and then when we finally found out, let's edit it to a song. Let's get the tempo up. Let's have it be a cat and mouse, Duke running around.
Well, and fun fact for listeners is Spencer loves to cut to a song. He loves the beat. He needs everything to cut on the beat.
And Alex is like, not everything has to. I'm like, yes, it does.
There could be dissonance sometimes. Come on.
Love cutting to the beat, and I hate cutting on blinks.
Yes, that's true. We had to make sure that there were a couple extra frames if there was ever a blink.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the original version of that scene with Duke had him like fighting a vending machine.
Right.
It was so different.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was supposed to say, "Give me the freaking chips, Kip," something like that.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Right.
Yeah.
And the reason Duke had to or Tyson had to completely rework that scene is because we didn't have any extras, and we had to shoot the interior classroom portion later. So we're like, what are we going to do in this hallway? Let's change the scene. Let's get something.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Just thinking on the fly.
And that locked car door was actually accidental at first, and so then we had all the subsequent takes have it be a locked door because we thought that was a lot funnier.
It fits.
And in classic movie 101, like trivia, got to read all of the ticker lines down here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Juicy stuff in there. My favorites are towards the end of the scene. But
yeah, you'll get some Ruth Easter eggs and stuff.
And this was this BPB news scene. We had written a different version of it that we shot for proof of concept way back, like way before principal photography. Do you remember that, Connor?
I faintly, now that you're saying it, I'm like, oh wow, yeah, we did, didn't
with
we?
Matt Walker, remember?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That was back at the Source Mall, and no permits. We just take our crowd of like 15, 20 people to shoot like a flash mob
That
scene.
was a pretty crazy scene too.
Yeah,
dinosaur
going
costumes
on in that scene.
and whatnot.
Yep.
Man, wow, I totally forgot about that, but you're completely right.
Yeah. And the scene obviously changed a lot. It's not like a flash mob anymore. Now it's at a newsroom, but I guess the flash mob comes to them.
Yep. But I think a lot of the script was pretty much the same, right, Spencer?
I think so, pretty much.
I remember, I mean, the jizz of the podcast
the
line.
jizz of the podcast,
that
yeah.
was still in there in the proof of concept even.
Oh, Alex's big cameo is about to come
it's
up.
coming
Yeah. The original leather
What's
knight.
funny is I bump the camera and then I come through the door because I was the one who walked past too.
Nice. Yeah, that's
And
Alex
I'm
right
the
there.
leather knight
Yes.
right there.
We got the Wilhelm scream.
Yeah.
We got Kaylin Coates on the right-hand side. My brother-in-law comes in with a lightsaber.
Yeah. Oh, it's pretty crazy.
All sorts of good stuff.
Well, and the other crazy thing too is that was just a studio at Biola that had those cameras.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
had like an actual kind of like news setup.
Helps the production value a lot to
It
just
does.
have that in
Definitely.
the room. Yeah. And this is another one of those sequences that is just filmed bit by bit over
That's your dorm room,
a
bro.
few months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my dorm room.
That was I forgot
And
about
those
that.
were Spencer's grandparents
My
just
grandparents. We got Becca Belico, our first AC cameo, right back there. You see
Yep.
her. Also, the co-director of Beast Mode with me. So shout out to her. Amazing work.
Mm-hmm.
And the tattoo artist that you guys are about to see, he did basically my entire sleeve, as including my Space Waves tattoo. Great guy.
Yeah, that's a real tattoo someone is getting, correct?
before. Right.
Yeah.
We
Gotta
don't
be
know.
authentic.
For real.
I love this addition from you and Tiffany of all the bags.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then we
The
shot
three of
it,
you
but
guys,
yeah,
yeah.
it was Tiffany's idea, I think. Right.
Yeah, yeah, she really pushed
That was a
for
really
that.
funny idea.
Yeah, I was like, all right, let's go get it. We called it the American Beauty shot.
Oh yes.
Get that
yeah.
plastic bag, dude.
The bag
Love
in the
it.
wind.
Yes. Vang Bros. There's a shout out to Abel Vang, our professor who taught us a lot at Biola University.
And there's a Ruth podcast.
Yeah, where's Ruth? Friggin' breaks the bed right there.
And this is kind of the end of like 3 different montage scenes. And we're back to the long one takes. Set a new like mood for the story, right?
That's
Right.
true,
And I
yeah.
love doing that, having some one takes where you can just kind of sit and breathe and let the scene unfold in real time. Something very special about that, as well as something very special about keeping the hype up and the energy up and cutting to the beat and having music and all this action and stuff and just trying to bring a balance. I think that's a real strength of Space Waves and a testament to Alex and me. Right.
Oh yeah. Gotta get the pacing right.
There's some really creative blocking in this scene too, just given how small this space was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Figuring out a way to get like Duke to leave the scene for a little bit, but then come back and then leave
Right, he
again.
couldn't. He
Duke
couldn't
doesn't
fully
stand up
He couldn't fully
either.
stand up because he would have been out of frame.
Right.
Or even rolling off the bed earlier. He was
Yeah.
a champion about just
Yeah.
making it work.
Yeah, exactly.
And it works with his character too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very Duke move.
Andrew,
No, great scene.
what's happening?
Okay,
Andrew's just immersed.
oh yeah, it's just
What's
watching
happening
the-
right here, dude?
In one of the earliest sound design passes, someone put Tyson peeing as a sound effect.
They thought he
there's
was
a quick
peeing,
correction.
dude.
Like,
Yeah,
no,
we're like,
that's
no,
not
no,
what's
no.
going on. That's my cameo, by
There
the way.
you go, Andrew.
Yeah.
Oh,
most
we're supposed to sing it. Who breaks
extra,
walls his own bald head? Who fought a cow because he had some beef? Who drives stick because he's got a big Gerthanator?
No.
Oh man.
Originally, us three, me,
We
Spencer,
sang
and
that,
Andrew
yeah.
sang that for like the temp version
Oh yeah,
of the scene.
that's staying locked away.
I didn't find that. That's spectacular.
Yeah.
And so the where right there where they're all listening to the song and they're all nodding and stuff. That's because Connor and I ran the tape early and they're listening to me directing them. They're all nodding because I'm
Yep.
like, okay, we're about to do the scene, blah, blah, blah. And
Good
then
thing they didn't look up at you. Like he's just looking
Right, he's
down,
just kinda
so he
looking around,
totally
looking
looks
at
like he's
them.
in his own
And
head.
it looks like they're bobbing along to the music, dude.
Yeah. No, it worked out great.
So the wonders of editing there.
Got to look at all the footage.
Oh, Alex, we poured over every second of the footage.
Oh, we
had,
absolutely
dude.
did, dude. Absolutely.
We had years to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's a classic comedy where I just love Gerthanator calling Marvin something different every time. It's never the same thing twice in the scene.
Mervin's.
Marvin's Marlin.
Mallory.
Mallory.
Yeah,
There it is.
Did we have all those in the script, or was that just
No,
Kenny?
dude. Well, here's the thing. He couldn't. I don't know if he. No, he could remember his Marvin's name, but I think
Yeah.
he messed it up once, and I was like, okay, yeah, dude, just call him a different name each time. Dude.
Yeah, that's great.
So then it was good, and then I think he says enough circa coma lotion, or however they said it. And that was supposed to be enough circumlocution, but he couldn't remember that line. So we just, you say anything, just say it with confidence, dude. Nobody will question it, you know?
And what's crazy about this scene too is that, you know, you'd watch this scene and you'd think, oh, it's a Joe Rogan parody.
Yep.
But me and Spencer had no clue who Joe Rogan was.
Really?
No
When we wrote
idea.
the script.
Oh, wow.
Or when Spencer wrote the script.
Dude, I barely even knew anything about podcasts. We didn't even have 2 different mics for them. Look, they're sharing one mic, dude. Like, we knew nothing about how podcasts work, dude.
So the fact that it's like a big, you know, bald guy with like this kind of purplish aesthetic
Tattoos,
going
drinking on the show. That's apple juice, by the way.
Yeah,
But-
it's just a little ridiculous how like
How
close
close
to
it
Joe
is,
Rogan
yeah.
it is,
Yeah.
representing the guy who's like number one.
Yeah,
You know?
and they just passed the #1 podcaster, Gerthanator. Originally, he was supposed to be like #7, and it wasn't even supposed to be like a big deal that they passed him on the charts. But then we reworked that in post, you know?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's kind of like a lot of these things, you look at it and you're like, how could it have been written any other way? It
Yeah.
just feels so right, but
A movie is written 3 times.
exactly,
Yeah,
dude.
for real.
In writing, in production, and in editing.
Yes.
That headband moment is cool. If you want to.
Pretty cool.
So cool.
So epic.
That's the last time he had worn the headband. Now it's off for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, and he wears it in every scene, but that's kind of him just throwing in the towel
Yep.
on Space Waves.
Yeah. It's his turning point.
Here comes Sawyer fading into existence.
So who's going to explain the fan theory?
that Sawyer is fake. She doesn't exist. She's just a figment of Marvin's imagination. Because she barely interacts with any of the other characters in the movie except Marvin. So he's
right.
got his imaginary girlfriend.
Sounds like a video essay in the making to me.
Sounds like Inception or something.
Right.
Totally.
This is back to the first day of shooting. This is actually the first
I
scene.
think the first thing we shot. Yeah, I remember.
Drone
now.
shots were first, and then we shot these interior of the car. This is when the car is actually working.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
this
the
is
one
it's actually
time.
driving those profile shots. It's green screen. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally.
Period piece, 2018, when aux cord still existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, good old days.
Yet it's really funny too. This just proves how out of the loop with podcasts we were, because it wasn't even iTunes Podcasts in 2018. They rebranded to Apple Podcasts in 2017, and we didn't even know.
Yeah.
So it's like they're trying to get to the top of the iTunes charts, and the iTunes charts don't even exist at this time.
It's an alternate universe
Yes.
is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brooklyn, dude.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Shout out to Brooklyn.
Love their music. They don't have much music, but they're awesome guys. They let us use their music. Very dreamy, very kind of 1975 synth poppy. So
Yeah,
figured
it's
it
great.
fit. Felt very romantic, very nostalgic.
And then right here, Spencer actually called me like the day before we were premiering this movie, and we cut out like the first half of this scene because it just needed to get into the action, you know? And it definitely works a lot better.
How did that call go? Where you're like, oh no.
Dude, you were
I was
hesitant.
kind of
You're
like,
"Oh,
are
Spencer."
we really going to do
But then
this?
I told you,
Yeah.
and I think I showed you an
You
edit.
did show
I
me.
edited
Yeah,
it,
you did a quick edit.
and then you were like, "Yeah, that's right, dude.
yeah,
let's do it."
It felt right.
Yeah.
So I guess this was your first Steadicam shot of the shoot, huh?
That was the first time using the Steadicam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I gave him my best. Not gonna lie to
And
you.
Taylor gave it his best with
Yeah, with
stabilizing
some
in post.
stabilization for sure.
It was kind of a crazy start because we got a bunch of gear and like didn't have all the pieces we need because we didn't have like a prep day. This is when we learned like the lavs that we rented didn't work. Yeah. And so we just basically recorded the sound of crunching gravel with a boom mic, you know?
Yeah.
So it's great. Another scene
Yeah.
done mostly in post-production. All in post.
N64 plane right behind Marvin's arm. You see there? N64.
N64.
Oh, that was planned from the original script.
Definitely.
We
Oh,
brought
yeah.
that plane in from
100%.
Japan, dude. It's a custom-made N64
Yeah.
Nintendo plane.
That was
Shout
that
out
was
to
huge.
Nintendo.
Yeah, that's what we spent the whole budget on. All right, anyway.
Oh no, Spencer, you want to talk about this?
No, you have to talk about this, dude.
All right, all you, Connor.
All you, dude. It's your favorite scene, dude.
Neither me or Spencer really knew how to tell two people to start making out, so both
Didn't
of
have
us
much
kept telling
experience
each
in
other.
that.
Yeah, we both said like, "Hey, like, you want to go check the shot, make sure the shot's
Yeah,
good."
go set up the shot.
He's like, "No, you're fine, you got it." I'm like, "You sure? You don't want to just check it and just make sure everything's right?"
I was like, I don't have any shot ideas. You set it up, and you're like, I don't have any shot ideas, Spencer. How about you go pick the shot? But the only possible angle, because it was so cramped, was like this above angle and this wide lens.
Yeah.
And the only way they could get in there was for them to be on top of each other.
Totally.
I guess.
Yeah.
It was
of course.
It
That's the
wasn't
only
supposed
way.
to be quite that
There's no
raunchy.
other
Only way.
There's no other way.
Right?
Yeah, totally.
Ooh. Marvin's lying to his audience right here, which is a real...
Oh, Tito.
Tito Sanchez.
Why is he standing on that side of
Visual
the tree?
comedy.
Yeah, when you think about it, it's like that's the side all his friends are
Right.
Others are watching a thing.
I never thought about that.
Okay, Ray's moment right here. How do you know that? Just edited so quick.
So much
Great
angst.
performance, right?
Yeah. But anyway, like I was saying, Marvin is lying to his audience. He's saying, "Oh, Marvin here with another solo episode. Joey's still really sick." And it's like, dude, that's not true at all, man. But, you know, he's getting to a new low, you know? So I thought that was something we came up with later that we added in. I think really shows his downward spiral and kind of just his desperation to keep the podcast going, even though he hasn't talked to Joey in weeks.
That's another great thing that all these like new voiceovers add is a little more subtext into what's going on in Marvin's head, right?
Yeah.
I always like the way that Tyson said, I think I see something.
I think I see something.
It almost
A little
sounds like he has an
Scottish.
accent.
Was this here? This was here, right? Like this TP thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
we didn't
that
make
just
that.
We
happened
found
to be
it.
there.
Yeah, we just found it in the forest.
I'm pretty sure you guys found this location just by driving around.
Yeah,
right?
that is
That's
so,
pretty much how we found
That's
all our
so crazy.
locations.
so wild.
I wasn't actually on set for this scene. I was out.
Where did we get
doing
this
other things.
chicken as well? I actually have no idea.
I did pick
Obviously-
up the chicken though. That was from like a
Family friend,
of
yeah.
Really?
Spencer's. Yeah.
Like you had to like go chase it down and like put it in.
Well, no, you had to lure the chicken using squirrel sounds. No, you had to lure the
what?
dog. You had to lure the guard dog away using squirrel sounds in
That's
order
a
to
true
get
story.
the chicken.
Is that in
Really?
beast mode?
No, it's not in beast mode. It's going to be on my podcast though. We're going to tell it
Okay.
eventually. So
Yeah.
Oh
there's
my
a whole
gosh.
whole story to how
I
the
definitely
chicken
wanna
got
hear
to
that
set.
we will
story.
tell that
Yeah,
story
wow. It's
pretty
at some
funny.
point. But it's so funny. Alex, the 3 different takes. Do you remember this?
The 3 different takes.
I don't know if you remember, but we ended up. He didn't say it 3 times in each shot. He said it. What am I
Once
trying
per
to say
take,
here? Yeah,
right.
once per. He said it once per take, and then we ended up cutting together 3 takes of him saying "chicken gay, gay chicken, chicken."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
definitely did. Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to be 3 times, but we're like, let's use all 3 of these takes audio and just cut it together. Like Duke just keeps driving the point, chicken gay.
Well, he just said it. I mean, just, in classic Tyson form, he just gave us a lot to work with. So he did it a few different ways, and we just thought they were all funny and they all kind of fit together. So you just got to put it together.
Yeah. Let's use all of them,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and Duke's wearing a Phoenix shirt as well, which is very fitting. And I didn't even realize that till years later. And Tiffany's like, yeah, I planned that. The wardrobe. Hello, I planned that. I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice. And then I will say, too, one of the main reasons I picked Tyson was because in his audition tape, he actually auditioned with that forest scene. And I remember I felt very bad for leaving Tyson in the forest. Like, I felt a lot of compassion just seeing like Marvin walk away. And I was like, damn, dude, like this sucks, man.
Yeah.
Like I would feel so bad to leave him behind,
Yeah. No, it was a good performance. So
Um,
you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say, yeah, in this scene, it's really crazy because there was originally a boom pole in the middle of it going back and forth between Marvin and Joey. And Taylor, who also not only was our gaffer, but also did VFX for us, basically took that out and kind of recreated shadows and, different things and took away shadows and fixed the mirror in the back there and made the scene completely clean.
And that's another like budget thing, right? Because we had
No lav mics.
We didn't have lav mics.
Right.
So the only way to get audio is by booming the scene, but it's a one take wide shot.
And
so
we
what are you
see
gonna
the
do?
whole room. Like that is the room. There's like a closet behind where Marvin's standing.
Yeah, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah. And so it's like you just have to
we
do
didn't
what you have to
realize how
do.
big of a job it would be to VFX out the boom pole. That
Yeah.
was like the craziest.
There's a lot. There were a
thing.
lot of
It took
versions, I think, that
weeks.
Taylor had to do.
Do we want to talk about Marvin's dick?
I'll let you take that one.
Dude, Marvin, we had to send the shot back to Taylor because we realized Andrew Marvin had his he had his hand in his pocket and his thumb was sticking out like right there, dude. And it looked so weird. And I'm like, bro, this is the most serious scene. Like we have to amputate. So it was VFX'd out, and it was like wiggling around and stuff.
No, it did not work.
So we had to
It
cut
wasn't just
that.
his thumb. It just
Yes.
Yeah.
it's kind of any
There will be
distractions.
an alternate cut eventually.
The
No.
unrated
It's
cut,
got
dude.
our version.
Yeah, with the 9-minute makeout scene.
Oh my gosh.
And like 5 more turds from Fallixon.
Oh my gosh.
This
we
was
did.
the first take or the second take?
This was
of a lot of
this was the
things?
very first take. We did 9 takes of this. We shot this scene for like an hour and a half, you know. But we used the first one because it was the best.
Yeah. It was really hot in that room. That was just a lot of repeated takes, a lot of trying new things. It was a long day that day.
I think that was like day 17 or 18, and it was just it was cool because it was the very end. It was the last scene that they shot together on principal photography, and so it was a really heartbreaking, just hard scene. You know, it's like final night, and they're having to do this like really deep scene. It's my favorite scene in the movie. My favorite moment is in Scarfs, which I will. Yeah, you could probably already guess what that is. But this is my favorite scene. I love the performance. I love how raw it is. I just think they killed it. I think it's I don't know. I just think it's very beautiful how we as the audience can see both of their perspectives, but they can't see each other's perspective.
And then if I remember correctly, this is the longest one take, right?
Oh yeah, dude. I think it's like almost 5 minutes,
Yeah.
which it does not
Without
seem
a cut.
Without a cut, man, it does not seem that long.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, because
Yeah.
when you're engaged, you know, and it just goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's major props to Drew and Rudy for being in it that long, not just for this take that made it to the final cut, but even on set. They would be in that like 5-minute run through of the scene like 9 different times. And it just takes so much like mental energy to do that.
Yeah,
and
and
get
I
a good
think
performance.
they like each of them messed up a line like maybe 3 minutes in, and it was like, oh, and then you had to cut that entire take out, you know. And so it was like if you mess up one little thing and you can't save it, it's like, dude, you just have to do the whole scene over again. So there was it was a frustrating scene to film. But props to Connor, man, dude, you held that camera perfectly still the whole time.
Dude, I did a lot of strength.
He was actually balancing it on his head.
Honor the
to
human
tell.
tripod.
Definitely.
We didn't have a tripod. No,
Yeah,
we
they
did.
hadn't
We did.
invented them
So
yet.
low budget, there was no tripod in the whole film.
And that jacket throw was improv'd as well, which was awesome. Love that. And especially since he throws the jacket right where Marvin was. He hits the
Yeah.
mirror, you know, very lots of deep meaning there, you know, just like the
Yeah.
bagel scene. There's so much kind of
So much
deep
to say about the
hidden
bagel scene.
meaning, you know.
We've got a fade out right there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Spencer was originally against fade outs in the movie. And there were a few moments that we just felt like dramatically it needed to be in there, or even to tell a story. I know earlier
Benson's Thrift.
Benson's Thrift.
It had to fade up in to kind of show it was a new day.
Right,
and stuff.
exactly.
I like how Marvin is sitting down at the base of the tower in this scene because he's like, you know, he's that loyal to Joey still, even though he's pissed at Joey. He's like, I can't go up there unless he's my bro, which is like kind of him being stuck in the past still, right? Or
Yeah,
him
like
still
it just
holding on
wouldn't
to the
feel
old
right
thing.
to go up there. Like he can't bring himself to go up there.
Yeah.
and I think and originally why it was supposed to be shot up there on the tower, just him alone, and it was like that could have been cool, but we had some crazy guy with a dog in a backpack as well as another dog on a leash trying to kick us out of the space tower, even though we had a permit. And he literally called the cops. And so I was like, all right, we need to get the shot down at the bottom of the tower. Like, let's just get the shot now. And I don't even know where you were, Connor. You weren't even there because it was in the middle of the day. And so you might have been sleeping or gone somewhere. So Becca and I went and shot the scene at the bottom of the hill just because we had to get it. And then I ended up liking that a lot better. And we're like, you know what? Let's not shoot it up on top of the tower. I think down in the dumps, Marvin, is awesome.
Yeah, it worked out.
When it fits this half of the movie.
Yes,
and where it's going. Yeah.
And one last thing I'll say about that quickly is that the wolf pack was spray painted up in the top right of that wall. So check for that Easter egg. You'll have to rewind it back. All right. Second half of the movie. This is all nighttime, basically. You know, the first half's all daytime, bright, fun comedy, and the second half is dark, gritty drama, drive. So there's a real shift, you know. People are like, oh yeah, man, the tone really changes in the second half. It's like, yeah, all you gotta do is just shoot at night.
It's funny that after the premiere happened, I talked to people about the movie, and a lot of people would basically say they like the first half more, they like the second half more. And those are like people's two different like takeaways from the movie.
It does.
Are you
it really
team
does.
first half or second half?
Right. Well, originally we were all team first half when we started this project, when we were all young pups, because we're like, oh, it's so funny, it's so cool, and we're like, yeah, we got to get some drama in the second half, but whatever.
Well, I have to say, I think I was team second half from the beginning, though, because when I first read the script, that was what hooked me and wanted me to be a part of this project.
And now we are all team second half. I mean, it's just, there's so much beauty in that second half, and I really love it. The first, it feels like two different movies, but somehow they still work, and I think that's you know, just awesome. Luke Reed here telling this car wash story. This was a real story where him and I went through a car wash
When he
convertible.
tells a lot more story here. And originally it was kind of a long scene, and even though it was super funny, we felt like it made more sense to have that dramatic kind of moment come back where you see that it's not the same way that it was before, and Joey's out of the picture.
You can kind of, and I love showing Joey listening to the podcast. Yep. Because it's like he still cares, you know, and he's tuning in, and he's not just some heartless asshole that's just completely checked out, but, you know, it's just different. And I think it was great having the music come in and just real softly and just kind of juxtaposing and showing that things are different and it's not the same without Joey, even though we love Luke Reed.
That we do.
I remember coming into this scene, it was another case of just cutting right into the action. There was a little bit of a precursor to this, but getting
the first half of the scene that we cut out.
Yeah, there was like a little bit more conversation as they started going in there, but.
We cut every scene in half. This was originally a 4-hour epic. That's a great line right there. Don't lower your standards, increase your grace. Got to get a little bit of that Christian worldview in there. And he doesn't accept that advice at first, but you see later in the movie it sinks in, you know, and I think that's how a lot of advice happens. And, you know, we're able to think back about those nuggets of wisdom that people give us, and it can impact us even if we don't notice it in the moment.
I think Tyson had called out pretty early on that Marvin's dad is definitely a stepdad. Based on the vibes, I don't know.
He's just such a jerk. Dude, just like needlessly grilling him from the start. How's that part-time? He's putting in the work. You're not. Loser. Dude.
Oh, and this is our buddy Orion's voiceover.
Well, we'll talk about that in a second, but look at the picture on the bottom right. You see Luke Reed's picture because it's Luke's house. Luke Reed's on the shelf hugging a tree hugger. Tiffany was so mad when she saw that. She's like, oh, I forgot to move the picture frame.
The dent in Marvin's door also, if you go back.
Emo, dude.
So emo.
Yes.
Yeah.
So angsty.
Check out that Halo sword on the wall. Love that.
Oh, yeah. Gotta have some Halo in this.
I really like the way this scene looks too, with like the half warm, half cool.
Yeah, we had to tape a lot of stuff to the ceiling on this. Again, it's one of those like we see the whole room and it's not a very big room. So I think we had a lot of lights just like taped to the ceiling and tried to make it work with what we could. But yeah, I think it turned out well.
Yeah.
And originally Marvin was supposed to be, like, you know, when we shot this on set, Marvin was supposed to be looking at bad grades on the computer.
That's right.
And that just shows how much, how far the movie came. Because then it was like, why is he looking at it? Like, he's supposed to be like, oh, I'm bummed out. I'm doing terrible in my college school. It's like, dude, that has nothing to do with this story. It should be him reading bad reviews. And that just hits so much harder. And it makes sense. It's like, why didn't we think of that before? So.
Yeah, it keeps the focus a little tighter.
Yeah. Our buddy Orion Pilger did all the voiceover for this. Some amazing...
The comedian in the background.
Yeah, just the comedian on the TV. This is a controversial shot. I've had a lot of people ask me, why the hell is this bagel shot so long? And I'm like, dude, it's so long because it's that much more devastating when it falls to the ground.
Well, and you just love the sound design. You love the squishy, I don't know, cream cheese slathering all over the bagel.
Right. ASMR bagel scene.
So let's talk about the deeper meaning of that scene, of the bagel scene. Is there a deeper meaning, Spencer?
Well, I didn't think so, but my grandma thought so. She said that the bagel falling one right side up and one face down was like a metaphor of Marvin and Joey not being together anymore and landing in opposite ways.
It's breaking some physics too, because everyone knows bagels always land cream side down. So that's
right.
It's the heavier side.
Yeah. That's
and Andrew, you were dropping those bagels, dude.
Oh, that was me?
Yeah, dude, you dropped the bagels.
I had a good drop. That's
good.
Yeah, it's a good drop. Good slow-mo drop.
Luke Reed's house yet again. Oh, originally that was supposed to be my voice. I was supposed to play Sawyer's mom. Like, Sawyer, laundry! Sawyer, shut the door. You'll let the cat out. That's how it was supposed to go.
But I don't actually know why we changed it.
Because it didn't sound, it sounded too campy. It just took you out of the scene. It didn't seem real, so.
Yeah.
I mean, as incredible as an voice actor I am, but no.
Yeah. This was our second time shooting the playground scene, actually.
Yes.
Round 2.
Yeah. Because we had done the first one up in Grass Valley with everything else, and now this one we had done back in Southern California after you rewrote the scene, Spencer.
Yeah, because it just sucked. I don't know, the writing wasn't that great and it just didn't really work, and we tried to save it so many times in the edit.
Tried a lot.
We're just like, dude, this scene doesn't work, so we reshot it and it was so much better. I love this scene, and it's funny too, Connor, I don't know how you feel about this, you have to let me know, but I remember I liked the first look of the scene better, because I was like, oh, but then it was kind of too perfect. It was a little bit unrealistic, but then this scene, it's a little I don't know what the right word is, but it's a little grungier. It feels a lot more realistic, I guess. But what do you think as far as the two scenes look?
Yeah, definitely this one we went for like a much heavier play on realism. We used some fun camera trick here too as well, because the camera we're shooting on is a Red Epic, and anyone who's shot on that camera knows it does not like low light situations. So we just figured out a way of shooting like light directly into the lens in a way that it wouldn't make it noisy, but you could still shoot these really dark, moody, like emotional scenes. So a little camera trick for you there.
And you can get a glimpse of it too when you have this tilt up shot.
Yeah.
And then there's the light that's moving right above the camera.
Yep.
Yeah, because you were holding that, or you were adjusting the tripod holding that light, and we had to
we
had to move the camera and the light at the exact same time, and that took us forever.
Yeah.
But we got it.
I think in this version too, there's more Sawyer smoking.
Yeah.
Like the way that we were able to kind of sneak more of those shots in. And I think her original performance with the smoking, like she wasn't always inhaling it. And it feels a little more realistic in this take, in this version of it.
Yeah. Classic teen angst. Andrew, are you going to talk about Marvin being self-absorbed? You had a good note on that.
Oh, let's see if I can remember it.
Oh, just like leading the audience to start to dislike Marvin a bit.
No, I think that for me as like an audience member, after seeing the movie for the full time, I get like pretty frustrated with Marvin in this scene, because I think it's when he's most obviously selfish, right? Most obviously just thinking about himself. And at the premiere, the rest of the audience watching it kind of felt the same. Like there was some wincing when he would kind of start dissing Sawyer, like kind of not listening to her. And I think it's a good turning point for the story too. I just like the scene.
Yeah, and it's like they keep almost connecting, but then failing, and they just can't quite get on the same page, which is really, I don't know, just really sad. And you know, from there on out, yeah, she's just like, she's just done. She's just over it, because it's like, dude, you're just pushing everybody away, you know, and he's pushing everyone away because he's hurt, you know, but it's not the right way to handle things. But who the heck knows how to handle things when you're friggin' 18 or 20? You know?
The whole second half of the movie seems like it's like Marvin trying to ruin each one of his relationships. He almost gets through all of them, you know. But
And then he stops at Benson, and then he brings him back on course.
He just like throws a disc golf right into Benson's face, dude.
You can't work at the thrift store anymore.
Dude just fires his boss. This is scene XX. I don't know why we called it that.
The whole scene number system got messed up pretty early on in production, so I just came up with random sequences of letters and numbers. Yeah, day 2, whatever we want to call it.
This is like a Transformers inspired "get in the car" kind of moment, because I love those get in the car scene. You know, chasing her down, not creepy at all, but. You know. Connor, you had a horrible time with that.
It was a really like large area to light, because they're walking straight profile and there's like no motivation for the light. So
the
we had
light
to
is
get
like
really
behind
creative.
the trees back there, I think.
Yeah, we had to get really creative, and plus we're pushing the car along because obviously the car still doesn't work at this point. But it worked. It turned out good, I think.
I really like how it looks now.
Yeah. And then this one was supposed to be shot with a different lens or something, right? But then it got stuck on the camera, and then we switched it, and Luke had a vice grip, and more on that in beast mode, I guess.
Yeah, for real.
I don't know. I think it was Connor. Actually, I remember it was your idea to have him hang his head, and I was like, bro, that was an epic idea.
Nice. Yeah, I honestly just looked cool for the lights, so I was like, you know, if he could do that,
dude. And I gotta say, I'm so thankful for you there, dude. You had so much expertise, and you directed the actors quite a few times and in ways that I couldn't have. So I'm thankful for that. And I think, you know, it takes an army, dude, and we all put our best effort in, and we got the movie you see today.
Dude, yeah, really, it takes a team, and I appreciate you like hearing me out and like, yeah, using that feedback and just making the best thing you could possibly make out of it.
Speaking of like making the movie into new things, this scene was one of the latest additions. The whole like,
I think it was the latest edition.
I think so.
The final.
And Taylor Moore shot this scene up in NorCal with me and Andrew and one other guy, just like tiny skeleton crew. And then I edited this scene. And we wanted to bring this in because Alex and I talked and we're like, dude, there needs to be like, or I guess me, Alex and Andrew, we were all just watching it being like, dude, there needs to be a rock bottom scene between him and Joey, or him and the podcast.
Yep.
Because there was rock bottom with him and Sawyer and, other parts, but we needed to show that like this podcast is done, dude, and it is run into the ground.
And he still can't give it up.
And I really love that, just showing. We got another fade up, and we see that he's just searching for it right after, and he's been searching all through the night. And it's like, dude, how sad is that? Like, that's so sad just to see the instant regret, and he's got stickers in his shoes and all that. And dude, he took a beating. Like right here, you see the reed poke his eye.
Yeah. Shout out to Drew.
Yeah.
He flew up just for this.
He had stickers in his socks, and like he was just beat up, and it was super late and it was super cold, and like, yeah, props to him, man. That was a tough scene to shoot. Yeah. I thought I dyslexic that. That was a tough shoot to scene, dude.
Tough shoot to scene.
That was a tough shoot to scene. And this is a great pan down. Love showing that he has the recorder, but it still doesn't bring him any happiness. He's still broken, just still right where he was before.
And then this is the one relationship that saves him. Benson, good old Benson.
Good old Benson.
I guess Duke kind of helps bring Marvin back also. Duke does some good for him.
That exterior was my landlord's house.
I was about to say, I'm like, I don't remember that shit. Like, shooting that. You guys must have got that at some point later, but.
Yep.
We didn't want any continuity errors with like him eating something or a drink on the table. So we're like, let's just give him a bowl of grapes.
No one's going to notice if one grape is missing.
Pretty safe.
I think he only eats like maybe one grape in this whole scene.
He's a slow eater.
Yeah.
Takes his time.
Connor, where did we shoot this, dude?
Where did we shoot this? I'm trying to remember.
It was a hotel in Grass Valley.
It was right across.
It was a different hotel though than the other.
It was in the same parking lot.
Yeah, it was in the same
parking lot.
This
was like a cottage. You could pay more and get this nice little cottage.
Yeah,
things.
we literally like walked across the street and filmed in here.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah.
This was from day 18, actually.
Again, another just really unique. Like we see the whole room, but we have to find a way to light it.
Yeah, that's right.
Did he say that line yet? You can't win if you don't throw the disc. Oh, he's about to say you can't. But you can't win if you don't throw the disc. That was supposed to be a reference to his glory days of Frisbee champion and the Wolfpack and all that.
It makes you wonder if the Wolfpack was just like a Frisbee team. Maybe it was.
They should be. They really should be.
That would be the spin-off movie, right?
Yeah.
Like big tournament. Yeah.
It's like Big Lebowski with like the bowling, but with disc golf instead.
Great transition shot with the freaking omelet burning. What do we got right here? The key toss.
The key toss.
We're going to talk about the key toss.
It's Marvin's big redemption moment from the key toss before. Here we go.
He lands it this time. Yes.
He's a changed man.
It's like more epic though that he just
Almost
barely misses it, and then he gets
dude.
it.
I loved that because earlier in the movie when he goes to pick up Sawyer, he drops the key trying to toss it. So that was epic that happened. That was accidental, and I was just like, yeah. I remember watching the monitor, freaking out, being like, yes, so cool. Oh man, shout out to Daryl, just a non-actor, just guy that owned the gas station, Chevron, but we turned it into Happy Gas.
Oh, yeah.
So we VFX'd that thing on his shirt. We VFX'd all the signs outside. You'll see Happy Gas chili dogs sold here.
And Happy Gas caps on the
and that was another Taylor shout out.
Yeah, Taylor's amazing. Oh, dude, the controversial Smarties shot.
What's controversial about it?
Dude, some people have told me, you're hand-holding the audience. You're doing way too much. That shouldn't have been there. And then other people are like, no, that helps because otherwise, what is he looking at? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's a split decision right there. I've gone back and forth on it.
It's a conversation for another time.
Yeah, Alex hates it.
I don't hate it.
Okay, here's the thing. Ray hated it at first when he first saw the movie. And then he came back later and told me, dude, for a first-time audience member, it's needed. For somebody that's only going to watch the movie once, it's needed. He's like, for the super fans that rewatch over and over, it's not needed or whatever. I don't know. You can let us know in the comments what you all think about the Smarties shot.
Yeah.
Also, day one. Man, we shot everything on day one, I feel
Pretty
like.
much.
It was a 2-day shoot.
Yeah.
Everything on day one.
2-day shoot.
Can you imagine like trying to film a whole movie in like 2 days?
I mean, the movie is only an hour and a half. So,
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, it's all the time
You
need.
could,
Andrew,
yeah, if it's like live.
Why did we have to VFX all the Chevron logos?
Well, there's a lot of reasons, but I guess the main one is that, I mean, otherwise you have Chevron with like someone's logo on their uniform, like selling cigarettes to a minor because he's 20. Is that a minor or is that just
in
like
California? They changed the law. Dude, I was 19 and I was smoking cigarettes and cigars here and there, and then they changed the law to be 21.
I thought
and
that
then
was nationwide.
I don't remember. Who cares, dude? But I remember I was able to smoke, and then I couldn't smoke, and so I got to have my first cigarette twice, or my first cigar twice. We got that Stranger Things reference. Incredible.
I always liked this scene because it's very meta for us leading up to the premiere of Space Waves. with Marvin and Duke kind of being anxious about, is anybody going to come? Like, it's a whole thing. And then us having those same kinds of conversations leading up to the premiere, right? Finishing the movie, you guys the night before.
We were literally like in a dark room watching the movie over and over and over again, making sure there were no mistakes.
Yeah, all the QC tests.
Yep.
Probably watched it 5 times in one day.
I think so.
Yeah.
And rendering out in between.
And then going to get food and then coming back. And
yeah.
How did the hourglass existence on your wall, do they paint that on your wall?
Yeah, it's like washable paint.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew
Took
that.
a while to scrub off. And you see the poster on the right side, Future Memories, and then Hourglass Existence right next to it. Same font style and inspired by that. So Future Memories was a skate video I made back in 2016. And the 90-foot crane jump that you'll see was from that video, and that was Matt Walker. But yeah, this whole scene is just very inspired by the skate videos that I would make, because I made quite a few skate videos over the years. That's what got me into filmmaking, was making skateboarding videos with my friends and always trying to make them bigger and crazier and wilder and whatever. Hence the 90-foot crane jump, the craziest clip I think I ever filmed. But yeah, we would make DVDs, physical over digital. Love that. And we'd spend a lot of time and by we, I mean me and my amazing family would help me out, burning all these discs at the church because they had like the CD duplicator. So I'd burn the master and then burn all these DVDs and then print the labels and put them in all the DVD sleeves, and so we'd have to like cut them out by using this big paper cutter. And like, it was this whole assembly line. And we made hundreds of DVDs, and then we'd sell them for a few bucks at the premiere. And it was just, really special. Those premieres over the years. We had Luke Reed would do the premiere speeches for me as well, because we just had so much fun collaborating, writing. And that was kind of the beginnings of my writing as well, because I remember we would get so much joy and just fun out of writing these ridiculous speeches. And we're like, okay, it's got to have like some information about the process and the journey. It's got to have these jokes and it's got to hype people up and all this stuff. And we just had a blast always writing all that and doing the speeches and holding events and trying to bring people in on an experience, something larger than life, not just the movie's out online, go watch it, everyone by yourself. It's like we want to bring people together. That's what we want to do with the movies.
How many of those premieres do you think you did for your skate videos and all that?
4, I think 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah 5. Yeah. Those were all great. Each one of them had speeches. Yeah.
And this conversation is inspired by one of the premieres, right? Where you asked somebody to like give a personal story.
Yes.
Add a speech.
Let me hit that in just
premiere.
a second. I will say too, I need to give a shout out to Tiffany because she said that amazing line of, wait, what's the line?
Oh, I don't know. For the people that are going to be there.
Yeah, you're giving them something to be a part of. And that was really impactful because it's not about the amount of people, and it's not going to be about the amount of sales we make on Space Waves and the amount of streams, it's about the people that do see it, So this movie is never going to be a failure because it's already connected with so many people. And that was the goal, man. It's moved people emotionally. So we're happy with that. This was Tyson's favorite improv moment where he shushes Marvin with the projector. That was pretty epic.
It's Alex
There's me.
again.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That's my voice.
Your voice on Ray.
Yeah, there's a lot to say about this scene. What else do we got on our notes here?
Man, we were literally going door to door to get people to come to this.
Yeah.
Just in the neighborhood. Hey, do you want to come be an extra in the movie? No, cool. Yeah, that's cool. It's all right. We got almost nobody, and it kind of stressed me out at first because it's like, why is there nobody like in the seats? But it just like everything else in Space Waves, it ends up working because they're just like normal guys who don't like, there's no reason a whole audience would come to watch a skate video. Right? So it works out perfectly that there's not really anybody there. I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
There were ways that you guys kind of like shot around that though.
Definitely. We were very creative with how we kind of crowded the shots
Yeah.
to make it look like those
Man, I wish we had.
A lot
I
of
wish
those
we had a lot
close-ups.
more audience reaction shots. But this was one of our very roughest days on set. And
I think we used like all of the audience
man,
reactions.
It was rough.
Yeah.
Connor, that's
Oh,
you back
man.
there.
That is. That's a cameo right there.
But not your audio.
Thankfully.
Where is the audio from? Is that just from like a sound
I think
library
that
or
was from
something?
Freesound.
I don't know. Oh yeah, there it
But
is.
it was a couple different sounds that like were mixed together.
I just
I think.
ad-libbed that on set. Are you guys talking about?
Oh yeah, and then Luke wrote this whole section of the speech. He brought it to me day of. He's like, hey, how about we add this in? And I was like, all right, yeah, cool. I like it. A lot of the lines pulled right out of his real premiere speeches that he did for me over the years.
Yeah, we're all just so invested in this scene. We're
I
like,
know. Well, I'm just
watching.
thinking about like the mess up that comes up in a
Oh,
second
yes.
here, and like how it's like one of my
All never
favorite
been seen
failed
before.
moments
Points.
that works so
Looks-
well. Like he actually messed up right
Yeah,
there,
yeah, yeah.
but it just works so
And
well.
this is my favorite moment in the entire movie. He cuts
Oh, it's so uncomfortable. That nod, the
There's a
moment's
third
nod.
your mom joke. That is a third.
that's true.
Yes, yes.
Nice catch.
That's true.
I love that moment,
That's
dude.
number
It's
3.
so funny.
That is a good trivia question. How many of your mom jokes?
Yeah, how many of your mom jokes are in?
That'd be one of those trivias where it's like 3 and then 3 other numbers that are way higher, and everyone's gonna think there's a ton, but there's only 3.
394.
94, 105.
Luke's holding the script in for this scene as well, which is funny. Okay, we actually did this for one of my skate videos called Reflect Project. We put DVDs in diapers and we threw them out into the crowd. So like, you're gonna crap your pants.
Was that diaper guy one just random extra that we found door to door? Or who was
No,
that?
that's my
Spencer's
buddy.
friend.
That's
Oh,
Adeline,
sweet.
who plays Keegan. That's her brother. His name is Jurassic Legs.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, right there, Ruth.
That's
He
epic.
says Ruth. Amazing. Another Ruth reference.
Yes.
Connor, how do you like this one take right
Oh
here,
yeah,
dude?
pretty epic. We even had to get some fog in there, so we're like, let's just work it into the scene realistically to kind of give it that epic walk down the
Quote epic. It was supposed to be a lot cooler. That's kind of like Space Waves. Dude, we're gonna have people
It's a
watch this
running
movie and be like,
theme.
"Is this supposed to be a cool movie?" And we're like, yeah. All right, so I guess Alex, we were talking about you were bringing up how this was inspired by Matt Walker's real speech.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I hit on that. We tell the whole story. I interview Matt Walker on my podcast, so you will hear the extended version there. But basically, Matt Walker did a speech for a poem, a haiku for my premiere, because I was like, dude, like Luke's speech is good, but like Luke and I were like, we need something more. We need something else. And so we had Matt Walker, who did a little bit of spoken word. I was like, dude, you need to make this ridiculous poem about skateboarding and about your first kiss, because he just had his first kiss. So we just worked it in, and I think it happened, at the premiere, and it was epic, and everyone was hella confused, but it was fun. And oh, dude, right here. Dude.
The look from Luke.
And then there's like
Oh,
that
man.
Luke grunt. Like,
Yeah, he's like,
This is one of those scenes too where when we were giving the script to people a long time ago, like before we shot it to get feedback, there's so many mixed reviews on this scene. People like did not
dude,
really
people
get
did
the
not
humor.
get it at all. The huddle shot.
It's a good one.
Oh, the leather sounds are so good.
That is good.
It was really hard for them all to keep a straight face during this scene.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it, they broke.
For real.
I remember the audience at the premiere really liked this goose plundering the dungeon moment.
Yeah, and they all look at each other and like, no, it doesn't work. Connor, your favorite, the rapper shot?
Yep.
And that voice was Titus, right?
This guy trying not to laugh is so
good.
So good. What were we actually like? Was he saying the whole speech in the background, or what was happening
I
when
don't
we were
remember.
filming this?
I don't remember, but I do remember we had to like not have Marvin say the nasty, or Luke or something, both the actors not say the
'Cause
gnarliest
the
parts of
little
the speeches.
kids in
Yeah,
the
because the
crowd.
kids were in the audience, so we were having to like be like, yeah, let's skip over this part.
Yeah. There's like some
Hey,
G-rated
that's me.
version.
Spencer.
I look so different there, man.
I know.
How many times? We had people screaming these lines at the premiere on the second
yeah.
and third night. They were like, "How many
It was
times?"
epic.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
so
and,
good.
and what's how many times from
Dude,
Spencer?
it's from Extreme Days. This is like the first movie I saw that blew my mind, dude. You guys know about Extreme Days?
Oh
You've
yeah,
seen it,
I've
man.
seen it. I've seen it.
Yeah,
it's like
this
a road
guy
trip
in Extreme
movie.
Days. Yeah, road trip, skateboard surfing, fun,
Yep.
just coming of age kind of movie.
Yep.
And the character does this poem, and he's like, "How many times must I blah blah blah? How many times?" And he goes, "As many times as it takes." It's just so epic, dude. And PAX 217, the band, amazing band, is in there. There's that 90-foot crane jump, so good. What else? What else can we say about this? The hypercut.
The hypercut's coming. Oh, these are all filmed from Duke's camera.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
hypercut
yeah.
right here.
Oh yeah, but that was also from like what he says earlier.
Yeah, he's like,
in
"I'm gonna have
the
this
beginning
hypercut.
scene.
It's gonna be like all over the
It's
screen."
gonna be all over the screen.
Yeah, so we did that.
He's like, well, this looks kind of
This
lame.
looks
but
kind of lame. I'm not gonna lie.
We're gonna have a hypercut.
Epic makeout right here.
The
Connor's second
projector and the
favorite
smoke.
scene.
I love ending on Joey here.
Yeah,
Because we haven't seen Joey in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we're like, oh, wait, where did Joey go? And then cue this scene where they see each other again.
Yeah, it does a lot in just like one shot.
Dude, I actually grew up going to this this ice cream parlor.
No way.
Yeah, it's like down the street from where I live. Me and Spencer live pretty close to each other.
Yeah,
so-
we didn't know each other growing up though at all.
Yeah.
So that was crazy.
There's like 100 ice cream flavors on the wall of this
There
place.
is. Yeah, that's what they're known for sure.
All right, a couple quick notes. That was Tiffany and Andrew walking into the shop, and then the booth was broken when we went there, and I didn't like that, so we were like, all right, let's just add it into the script. Let's have them reference that the booth is broken, and so that's how we saved it, and it just adds more character to the story. And I think it's so good having Space Wave's world expands so much because there's so many half stories and little tangents that you can just fill in the details and have fan theories of like, dude, there's so many more stories that we've just scratched the surface of. All right, DVD handoff. This is the moment where Marvin finally accepts that he and Joey are just on different paths, and wanted to show with this scene that just because it's an ending, it doesn't mean it has to be a bitter ending, that there can be a good ending that's still filled with mutual respect, forgiveness, and grace, even though it's sad.
They really did a great performance here.
Yeah, they did.
I love this.
And something cool to note as well is that it's like Marvin's core desires throughout the whole movie has always been to have friendship and adventures. Like that's his deep needs, you know. And he loses his friendships and his adventures because of his selfishness and stubbornness. His stubbornness to adapt to the changing seasons. And it's only once he does something selfless for Sawyer and Duke, the gift for Sawyer and then the speech for Duke, that he gets what he's been looking for the whole time, which is genuine connection and new adventures and new life seasons. And then of course he does the same thing for Joey. You know, he's able to do a kindness for Joey, and that brings healing. So that's a really big victory, and that's something very meaningful and beautiful that they'll be able to carry into the rest of their lives.
That's why I'm team second half.
Oh yeah,
Like those selfless moments where Marvin learns, he like grows by thinking about himself a little less, you know?
Shout out to Tiffany for coming up with the Smarties plot points. That was awesome. Also turns out you can smoke Smarties. You guys know about this?
Oh, yeah.
I used to do that a lot.
Oh, there's Connor.
Yeah.
But you're working graveyard, so Never mind.
Shout out to David Knight for just letting us shoot there.
Yeah,
Yep.
all night, dude. Oh. This is all CGI,
Yeah.
green
Yeah,
screen.
it's all in. Well, I think blue screen, but yes.
Yeah, blue screen.
Some
Whatever,
screen.
whatever.
There
This
was
is
Some screen,
back
but
there.
not that screen.
This is the scene I contributed as a DP.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You shot the plates?
I did.
Nice.
That's right.
It turned out good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mixed together really well.
Killer line right here. And look at this handhold, dude. We made a GIF of this, and now we used to, Andrew, we used to do a GIF of anytime we would have a victory with space waves or some task we were doing. Andrew and I would send the Top Gun high five GIF back and forth to each other, and now we're gonna send that handhold.
Sweet.
Interdigitated.
This is inspired by a real story that happened with Luke Reed and Jason Foster and I. And basically, we were driving home after a premiere, and we were taking our hands off the wheel and looking at each other. And then Jason's like, "I gotta take it up a notch." So he took his pants off while driving and shook him out the window, and that was pretty epic.
That's impressive.
Dude, you want to talk about how stupid Marvin is right here, dude?
Oh my goodness. So it's just a little, we were talking about how selfless Marvin is, but if you think back to the playground scene and how Sawyer shares this really vulnerable story about how her dad died in a car crash. And
From
then,
some careless driver.
and then here goes Marvin taking his hands off the wheel.
he's like, "Sawyer, take the wheel."
Take the wheel.
While
And
I'm
he's
messing
doing
around.
Oh,
it just puts the
no.
scene in a whole other perspective. It's like, oh,
Like, dude,
geez,
you really have
Marvin.
not been paying attention at all, Marvin.
For real. Not like we wrote it to be Marvin falling back into the sun.
Right, right.
but
It's just kind of funny. Oh, and right there, you got to listen close. But he said, "Bet you're wondering how I took him off too. Family secret." Which is
The Skylanders.
yes,
Great group of guys.
All right, right here, Benson's line comes back. What's the opposite of haunt? Not comes back to haunt, Marvin. Comes back to
And then goes to Benson appears on the tower in this scene.
Benson's on the tower. No, Benson's line of, "Who knows? Maybe one day you'll be able to say something good about him."
right. Yeah.
This is where Marvin is able to say something good about Joey, and he's able to say, he's really courageous. He's always starting new adventures, and that's something, really awesome and really commendable. What are you laughing at?
Now I'm just imagining Benson climbing onto the tower for his final shot. This is Marvin and Benson in the drone out.
Oh gosh.
His two best friends. No, but it's poetic. It's good that Marvin's by himself at the end and invites Sawyer's moving on.
Right, because some people may say, "Oh, like, well, Joey should come back up there and end up the podcast with Marvin." And it's like, dude, that's not realistic. That's not real life, and it's sad. But like, sometimes you are alone for certain times, and times change, But there still is a good ending, and there's a new season, new adventures, and that's why he's calling. That's why he's calling Sawyer, ready to enter that next season. The thesis we came up with for this movie was, although times change, friendship and adventure can be found in every season of life. So that's pretty good. And we got the epic, perfect bookend drone shot pull out. We shot it. The intro was sunrise and the outro was sunset.
Yeah.
Connor was flying a jet backwards for this.
Yes.
Leaning out of the plane with the
Leaning
red.
out of a jet. Again, very, very stable with my hands though. So
You did great.
we didn't have a tripod for that jet. So look at that. We did it.
Well,
We did it. Hey, should we tell? So we got a little bit of time with these credits. Should we talk about the curveball of how Marvin in Duke's room is like, "Oh yeah, then last weekend when Sawyer and I went from the hot tub to the bedroom to have our first kiss."
oh yeah. I mean, I don't have a lot more to add to that. It's just weird that never happened, and it's just such a change in Marvin and Sawyer's relationship.
Yeah,
Right after, because the audience saw them fight.
yeah, that's
And
the last
then
thing they
Marvin's
saw.
like,
and then
"Oh,
Marvin's
we
like,
had our first kiss."
which was supposed to be, I guess, off screen in weekends past. I don't know what that was about.
But it saved the speech and it saved Duke's premiere.
Right,
So
we had to
we
make
love
the
it.
plot work. I think what it should have been was like, maybe it should have been, oh, he's referencing their first kiss, which happened a month or two ago, or something.
That's what I always thought it was.
Yeah, but I guess just when he says last weekend, it's like it's a little too close. Where it's like, why were they kissing last weekend, right when they were in the midst of all their fighting, and Marvin was like super bitter. So anyway, that was kind of a. We watched that, we kind of laugh at that, and we're just like, oh man, we dropped the ball a little bit on that part, but
Yeah.
it's fine. It's funny. It's fun to laugh about, and I don't think anyone's complaining about that speech, man. That speech is epic. So,
I mean, yeah, we look through this film and like the four of us will see all of these like little opportunities we had to make it way better. But, you know, as a first feature, it's still something that I'm like, you know, proud of. I feel like even the first feature milestone is like so hard to reach, but just the fact that we made it, and then that it's as good as it is, you know, I'm not here calling it a perfect movie, but I mean, I think a lot of people connected with it, and that was the whole goal.
Yeah.
So it's something to be proud of.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it took us a long time to finish.
Yeah.
And it was cool being able to come out of college with you guys and kind of like grow into a new season with you guys with making this movie, and just getting to know everybody. I mean, especially Spencer, you know, the nights spent, you know, slaving over the edit and everything. We grew a lot closer as friends, and that was something that was just huge to be able to come out of Space Waves with. Something that we will hopefully cherish for a very, very long time.
Totally. And I mean, yeah, from my perspective too, like as a cinematographer, you kind of shoot something, you're like, I don't really have much control now. I hope they do something with it. But props to you guys for sticking with it and like writing it out. I think that's one of the hardest things, especially for your first feature, to just like commit to it. I see so many people like start projects and then they're like, you know what, I've changed my mind halfway through, but you can't do that in the real world. Once you started like laying track, you have to run with it and you have to make it the best you can. You guys stuck with it and made it better than I even imagined it could have been when I was there shooting it. So props to you guys.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's like I could never live with myself if I gave up on something I was passionate about, you know, or given up on a story I knew I needed to tell. It was like giving up was never even an option, dude. It was like, I don't care however long this takes us, but we're never going to compromise, and we're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep fighting until this is as good as it can possibly be. Mm-hmm. And also, it's crazy to think how, you know, this was all of our first feature. And yeah, we did grow so much through the process. And we, you know, also because Space Waves took so long, it's like we were all working film jobs as well. So we were growing in those film jobs and then kind of coming back and taking our skills and knowledge that we've been learning and applying it to Space Waves. I mean, like, oh, let's re-edit this. Oh, let's reshoot this. Let's redo this and that, you know? So we were all growing as just student filmmakers that had no idea what we were doing into like working professionals. And Andrew's working with Porter Robinson and all that. So
Like the start of Space Waves when we shot it was between my sophomore and junior year of college. So that was after you and I had done like a couple of short films, Connor. Yeah. And that was pretty much the only experience I had with producing. And then, you know, like you said, Spencer, we're all working in the industry as the years go on. And then by the time I finish, I'm like 2 years out of college and I've been freelance producing and learning all these things. It's great that I've had that time to build up knowledge about like producing after a movie's done and what do you do next? How do you sell it? And, which is another huge part of it. But if we had finished in 1 year and then I was like a junior going into senior year at Biola, I might have just done something dumb with distribution, just put it on YouTube or something. Like, who knows?
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
So,
Yeah.
And you only have one chance to make your first movie. So I encourage any young filmmakers out there that's like, dude, write the movie you want to see within the parameters of the story you need to tell. You know, it's got to be something that you can stick with for potentially years. And it has to be something you really believe in, something you're really passionate about. And then, as Tarantino says, if you truly love cinema with as much passion, you can't help but make a good movie. All right.
That sounds about
Yeah, he
right.
says something like that. Yeah, so just in closing, I'll say some dreams take longer than others. Ours took 5 years, but we never gave up. Even when we failed, it's like we always got back up. How many times did we get back up? How many times? As many times as it took. We never compromised or took the easy route. We always knew that this is a story we needed to tell. And that's always what it came back to. It's not just about trying to make a cool movie, you know, it's about sharing a story. It's about sharing a message. And this is a movie that has a message that can really impact people's lives and hopefully give comfort to those going through something similar and help people see their relationships and their lives in new ways and bring some redemption to that brokenness. So that's why we made this movie. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Space Waves out.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang, dude. All right, there we go. We're done. All right, if you enjoyed that episode, please be sure to leave a review. 5 stars is a power play. Also, I'm excited to announce that the official launch of the Spencer Whiteout podcast is coming in September. This is when I'll be transitioning the podcast into focusing on non-Space Waves related things, but I know all you Space Wavers out there are going to enjoy it regardless. Each episode, I'm going to be bringing on different friends and guests, and we're just going to be sharing our stories. It's going to be focused mostly on comedic stories and personal life experiences and anecdotes. Keep listening and be sure to stay tuned because there's a lot of good stuff coming up. All right, stay hyped.
And that's it.